Hi everyone, today is Sunday, May 31st, and I wanted to go over some questions that I've gotten from a lot of clients over the last month and a half or so about the Paycheck Protection Program. The SBA really was not clear with a lot of answers. They've slowly put answers out there, and so I just wanted to give some answers on some basic questions with the program. I'm going to be doing further videos regarding more specifics for this program, so if you have more in-depth questions, feel free to leave them below or look at my other videos. But today I'm just going to answer some quick, just basic questions about the program that I thought would be helpful. First question, what is the minimum that I can spend on payroll to achieve full loan forgiveness? So the answer to that is 75%. 75% has to be spent on payroll. The other 25% can be spent on rent, certain types of interest, and utilities. All right, what are considered payroll costs? That can be salaries, wages, commissions, sick pay, vacation pay, employer paid retirement contributions, and health benefits. What is included in utilities? That's your electricity, your gas, your water, your transportation, your telephone, and other things, internet. So those all work. If we don't spend at least 75% of the loan on payroll, does that disqualify us from any forgiveness? No. If you do not spend at least 75% of the loan on payroll, you can't have the entire amount forgiven, but you can still have qualified expenses forgiven. You just won't have the entire loan forgiven. Can we use more than 75% of the loan on payroll? Yes, you can use the entire loan on payroll if you need to. What is the most an employee can be paid in the 8-week period? So this question had a lot of people confused. The SBA put out there that you can't pay anyone an annualized number over $100,000. So what a lot of people did, they see 8 weeks and they say, oh, a normal month has 4 weeks in it. So they took 100,000 divided by 12 and multiplied it by 2. That unfortunately was incorrect. So what you really needed to do to get the correct answer to this question was take your 100,000 for the year, you divide it by 52 weeks, and then you multiply it by 8 weeks. And the answer to that is 15,385. Do I have to reduce the pay of employees making more than 100,000? No, any employee making over 100,000 can be paid as they normally would. However, no amount over the 15,385 in the 8-week period will be forgiven. Are retirement contributions and employer paid health insurance premiums part of the 15,385 per employee? No, so this is a good thing to distinguish. You can pay wages, etc., up to the 15,385. But then on top of that, you can have forgiven the health insurance premiums and retirement contributions on behalf of that employee. Can employees be paid a raise, bonuses, or hazard pay during the 8-week period? Once again, this was something that there was a lot of confusion about. The SBA has now come out and said, yes, these are legitimate expenses. If I have employees who were furloughed and are collecting unemployment and I rehire them, are they still eligible for unemployment? The answer to this is unfortunately no. Do 1099 independent contractors count? No. So if you have any contractors that do a lot of work for you and you pay them regularly, but they're not employees, the amounts that you pay to these independent contractors cannot be used for loan forgiveness. Are commissions considered payroll? Yes. Are employer paid payroll taxes counted as payroll costs? So I've gotten a lot of questions from clients on whether employer paid FICA and Medicare taxes are considered eligible payroll costs. The answer to that, unfortunately, is no. The only payroll taxes that can be used for loan forgiveness are state unemployment insurance. Am I required to maintain the payroll after the 8-week period if business has not picked up to normal levels? So many businesses were worried that if they rehired employees, paid them for this 8-week period, and then applied for loan forgiveness, would they be required to keep these people on payroll during that period where the loan is being reviewed for forgiveness, and then they wouldn't have their loan forgiven? The answer to that is no. So after the 8-week period, if business has not picked up back to normal levels, you can furlough those employees again. Can payroll and other costs that are forgiven be deducted on my 2020 tax return? The answer to this as of now is no, and this is an important thing to keep in mind. So payroll costs, rent, utilities, things like that you would normally deduct on your tax return, you cannot deduct those on your 2020 tax return if those amounts were forgiven. The SBA has been very clear Loan forgiveness is not income. However, it really ends up working out the same on your taxes, because what you're going to end up having to do, say for instance, your loan was $200,000 and you have the entire thing forgiven. That's $200,000 of payroll costs, rent, etc., that you're not going to be able to deduct on your taxes, and so you do need to account for that. If my business is still closed, what should I do with the funds? In theory, once you receive the funds, the SBA wants you to rehire your employees and pay it out in payroll. I've run into a lot of questions from clients who their businesses are either not open at all right now or starting to partially open. Dentist's office, for instance, though they were closed for months, they're starting to reopen finally. But a lot of clients received funds a couple weeks ago when they were still closed. They should have hired the employees back and started paying them even though they were not open. Will my loan automatically be forgiven? No, you will have to apply with the bank that you received the loan for forgiveness. You will not be automatically forgiven. If you do not apply for forgiveness, you will have to pay the loan back. When can you apply for forgiveness? Once your 8-week period has concluded, you will submit paperwork to the bank who supplied you with the loan for forgiveness. I'm going to put out another separate video going over the application for loan forgiveness to make sure that you all do it right. What is the interest rate on any part of the loan that is not forgiven? It's 1% and the terms are 24 months. If I'm a self-employed contractor, do my health insurance and retirement contributions count as eligible expenses? So no, unfortunately, independent contractors who file a Schedule C seem to have been singled out in this regard. So self-employed health insurance, and if you do either a SEP IRA or a traditional IRA and you file a Schedule C, unfortunately those expenses do not count as payroll costs for you when applying for loan forgiveness. So these are just some basic Q&A that I've received from a lot of clients. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, like I said before, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on the Paycheck Protection Program that I hope you find helpful. Please subscribe.